Hey Corey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Uh, Big fight, high stakes. Can you just describe how you're feeling going into this one on Saturday?
Yeah, normal. Just getting ready to fight, catering the mind towards what it needs and it's a big fight. It has big implications. It could mean a title shot after this one, so taking it super serious and making sure that I'm ready to go.
After that win over Marlon, it felt like there were just so many options for you. People were throwing out names, and everyone was like, yeah, that would make sense and it'd be a great fight. Was Frankie the first guy they offered you, or was there a process on how you guys settled on him as your next opponent?
So after my last fight, I called out TJ Dillashaw and I called out Frankie Edgar because, those are kind of the two guys that are at the top with Garbrandt going down to 125. So that was the idea behind that. After that, I kind of like realized like, oh, TJ's probably, would maybe do a little bit more for whatever, for popularity. And, that's how the game works a little bit now. Not that Frankie doesn't, but just being who TJ was in the division, he's a big name, and so that's why I wanted more. Uh, I don't know why it didn't happen. I tried to, make it happen, and it didn't. But I have Frankie now in front of me, and Frankie's, and I would say equally as tough opponent. And all focus is on Frankie.
Do you worry at all about having to be impressive because you have guys like Dominic Cruz going to fight soon? TJ Dillashaw is likely to be scheduled. Like, do you worry about, oh, I gotta really stop this guy and make it look good? Or do you tune a lot of that out?
No, I tune all of that out. All I care about is winning, man. And I think I'm dynamic enough and athletic enough and fun enough to watch where I don't really need to stress about all of those things. Um, my style just by nature is, exciting to watch. So I don't really, none of that really crosses my mind ever.
My final question, you got a lot of attention for your walkout music choice last time. What do we have
Mm.
planned for this Saturday?
Same thing. Yeah, same thing. I think it's, I was gonna change it, but then I started listening to it again, and you go through a lot of moods when you're getting ready for a fight. So when I listen to that one, man, it really puts me in a place to hurt someone, and that's what you need to do when you're going into a fight.
Hey, I get it, man. Thank you, Corey. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Chris Decker with Alpha.
Hi, Corey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi. Earlier this week, we published an interview with Andy Sauer about your time in the Netherlands. I don't know if you remember that time, and what do you remember about this time in the Netherlands?
Yeah, yeah. So I went and did with the WKA, the World Kickboxing Association. I was on the U.S. team for them in 2014, I think. And I went out there for the World Championship tournament that I ended up winning. And then afterwards, Dwayne Ludwig, who I used to train with a little bit, knew Andy Sauer. Andy Sauer was someone that I looked up to my entire, kickboxing journey. And I asked if he could link us up. And so I went out to visit Andy once in 2014, and then I think again in 2016. But yeah, I love that guy. He's helped me a lot, and he's just a really fun guy to be around. And yeah, me and him are good friends now.
Because he really took you under his wing and he showed you around his town, Den Bosch, if I remember correctly. You even celebrated Carnival, if I'm right. What do you remember about this time in the Netherlands?
Yeah, yeah. I was. What did we do? We ate every single type of food that the Netherlands has to offer. Yeah, we went to 11/11. I think your guys' Carnival is in February or something, I believe.
Correct,
But
correct.
we were in. Yeah, I was there for 11/11, and that was a lot of fun. Andy has like a huge family, so hanging out with his family was really fun. And yeah, I got to know all those guys, the Dutch people, learned a lot about them, and yeah, it was a good experience. Me and Andy are good buds.
Yeah, do you still keep in contact and do you still ask for pointers and still asking for advice?
Yeah, occasionally. I got to make another trip out there. I was hoping to go sometime last year, visit there, and then visit a kickboxing coach that I know in Serbia also. But I was gonna hopefully do that this year, but when things clear up, yeah, I definitely plan on going and visiting Andy again.
All right. Thank you very much. That's all for me. Good luck this Saturday.
Thank you.
We'll take our next set of questions from Sumit Data with Sports Data.
Hi, Cory. Hope you're doing well.
Yep, thank you.
So, you're facing a veteran, a former champion in Frankie Edgar this weekend, and I know being a fighter, your job is to prioritize every fight. But I'm just curious, in the back of your mind, does it distract you from knowing that you're in prime position to fight for the belt next, or are you completely willing to put your title aspirations aside for the moment?
It's in the back of my mind, of course, but there's a lot of things in the back of my mind that I don't really like listening to. But I'm good enough now, and I'm seasoned enough now to kind of be able to push that stuff away. So, for me, it's all about Saturday. Obviously, I think past that, just naturally being a human and thinking of the future has helped us all survive for a really long time. So it's hard to go against that impulse. But I'm locked in on Saturday.
With your fight this weekend and with a potential title fight right around the corner, how do you envision your 2021 playing out?
Yeah, I want to fight the winner, Sterling and Jan, in July, and then I want to defend the belt this year, at the end of the year. So that's what my 2021 looks like, and hopefully it'll go that way.
So I asked this to Frankie earlier today as well, and wanted to get your thoughts as well. With TJ Dillashaw set to return to the UFC, do you believe he'll be thrown right into the mix with the top guys and be in title contention right away, or how do you see his return playing out?
I hope he doesn't get a title contention shot right off the bat. I think that the guy is coming off a 2-year suspension from not like a soft drug, like EPO is a serious drug, and I don't think that he should just come back and fight for the title just because he has a big name. I think that give him anyone. I asked for him after my last fight and didn't get him, so I don't really know what's going on, and who knows what's going to happen with that. I don't think it should happen if you want my opinion about it, but I stay focused on me. I do good in this fight. I think I fight for the belt, no doubt, in July.
So you mentioned the bantamweight title fight between Peter Yan and Aljamain Sterling. How do you see that fight playing out between those two?
I've been changing my mind every time I've been asked this week. So we'll go with Sterling this time around. Sterling, I think, just has he has a pretty unorthodox style, and he has really, really great grappling. And I think I don't really know how great Jan is at grappling. I think Jan strikes really well, but it's pretty orthodox. There's nothing really too crazy about it. So I don't know though. Like if you ask me next week, I might change my mind and say Jan. So I think that one's kind of a coin toss. It's a super interesting matchup, and I'm really actually excited to watch this fight.
So you mentioned the walkout music thing a bit earlier, and your nickname happens to be the Sandman. Are you a Metallica fan somehow?
uh, I don't know, define fan, like I don't think I'm not crazy about Metallica. I don't go around wearing their t-shirts, but I do like Metallica. But no, man, I'm more of a rap guy, I like Biggie. I like all that kind of that older school generation of rap, Wu-Tang, Tribe Called Quest, all of those guys.
Well, I look forward to your fight this weekend, and good luck to you, sir.
Cool, thanks, man.
We'll take our next set of questions from Nikita Gorzhny with Sports Express.
Cory, big pleasure speak to you. Cory, Aljamain Sterling breaking down your fight with Marlon Moraes pointed very interesting thing that when you hit his liver with your punch, you were not afraid of his counter, that hook and overhand. I wonder why, because you believed in your speed or because that shoulders protect you from that big overhand and hooks?
I think when you're breaking down fights and you're trying to talk technically about things in fighting, it's a lot of the invisible stuff that you don't see, that is what's working, and I think that especially in grappling, I think that that's huge, but also in striking. So I think in that circumstance, when when I go to the body, it's typically when I see that they're, just slightly off balance and that they're not able to counter as quick as they can. Most of the times that I do most of my offensive attacking, it's when they're out of position and when they're just, even for half a second or they give me just a little bit of an inch. I know when it's kind of safe to attack and when it's not safe to attack for the most part. I still get hit, but for the most part, that's kind of what's happening. So when I do go to the body, it's timed in a way where they're not in a position where they can counter super hard, and I know everyone knows that I like to go to the body with that left hook, and I still have yet to be countered really hard by it. And I think the reason is just because it's those little invisible small things that, it's really hard to watch on the outside and tell what's actually happening.
Cory, you some kind of inheritor of this Dominic Cruz footwork conception, footwork system. How do you think this Dominic Cruz footwork system still works nowadays, considering calf kicks entering the chat, or it's maybe a little bit outdated and old-fashioned? How do you think?
No, I think with calf kicks now, I think moving your feet is actually more important. I think checking those low kicks is very hard when they're trying to kick you in the calf. You can't get your shin on it, and the best answer is to get your entire body out of the way. And in order to do that, you have to have good footwork. So, that's what I teach my guys. So I think in the future, what we're going to see here coming up is we're going to see guys not even bothering trying to check those or whatever, or people are either going to crowd them or they're going to get all the way out of the way of the kicks.
Cory, my last question: how do you think who right now top three the most technical guys in your division in terms of striking? Who three the most technical?
I guess it depends how you define technical. If you define technical by like they have their fundamentals really sound, where their hands stay by their face and they keep their bodies underneath them and they throw proper punches, I would probably say it's maybe Jan's up there. Frankie's really technical, and then I think Pedro throws wide sometimes, but he defensively keeps his hands in a pretty safe place. But that's kind of, if you define technical in that way. I think everyone has their own style and people do things differently based off of what they're capable of, their bodies doing, and just their reaction times and their quickness and all of that stuff. So if that's what you mean by technical, I'd probably say those are maybe the top three. But if you define technical by just having like solid fight skills, it probably wouldn't be those three.
Cory, one question about Peter Yan. How do you think, what makes him special? Because he didn't throw leg kicks a lot, and he has that economical style. He doesn't have a really big output. How do you think, what makes him special?
I think he plays it more or less safe. Like he opens up and tries to crack you really hard, but I think he has a pretty safe game. He likes to stay at a range that I think most people are really uncomfortable with, wearing small gloves, which I think gives him a really big advantage. So I think that, if there's anywhere that and he's just really well-rounded at everything. So I would say if there's anywhere that's where he's really good, I think that's probably where he's pretty good. But at the same time, you can't bring up Jan without me, bashing him a little bit too, because that's, a little bit of my job. But I don't think that he's had super high level competition. The guy got a title shot off of Faber. He fought Aldo, and Aldo is definitely, one of the greats. And those first two rounds were really close against Aldo. And so who really knows what separates him, because he hasn't fought as tough a guys as some of the rest of us.
Thank you very much, Cory. Best luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take our last set of questions from Pablo Santamaria with UTMMA Ecuador.
Hi, Cory, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, the first thing I want to ask you is, you're facing a legend of the game like Frankie Edgar. Where do you think a victory over him puts you in?
I think it puts me in the title shot. I don't think that there's really anyone else. Like, I think that TJ's coming off suspension. He shouldn't even be in the conversation. The guy needs a win. He hasn't fought in over 2 years now. And let alone it wasn't even in our division that he was fighting in. There's that, and then there's Garbrandt, who said he's going down to 25. If Garbrandt's not in the conversation, because his knockout against the Sun Sal was super impressive, and he has a lot of backing with the fans and stuff. So if Garbrandt's not in the conversation, then it's only me and Frankie who are in that conversation. Font's new to the top 5, and I think Font has a lot of skills, but he's only got 1 win, and that's the state of the division. I think the winner, me and Frankie, should get the title shot 100%.
For sure, for sure. But what are your thoughts when Pierre said that he's interested in facing TJ if he passed Aljamain? What do you think
Yeah.
about
I mean, I don't really know his think. I don't know his thinking behind that, and I can kind of see it. I see the argument, like, if he beats Sterling, Sterling beat me sometime last year, then maybe he should, like that. That's kind of hard. That's a tough sell for me a little bit. But you know what? Like, I think it's a tougher sell bringing TJ back after 2 years of being suspended off of some of the most serious, PEDs that you can use in the sport. That's a really tough sell to me too. I think the only reason that he wants TJ is because TJ hasn't fought in 2 years. He's not going to be on steroids anymore, and he's getting a little bit older. I don't think that he really wants to fight a tough guy that doesn't have the same fandom as he does. And I think that that's me, and I think that I'm the tougher fight. But I think TJ is probably, quote unquote, the bigger fight, and that's kind of how the game works a little bit. So I see why he's doing it, but at the same time, like, I'm the tougher fight.
Talking about the fight, where do you think Frankie is more dangerous because he's a complete fighter?
Yeah, I think Frankie's a interesting fighter in the sense that, like, he's not necessarily this guy that's going to put out really huge highlight reel knockouts or submissions or I mean takedowns even, I would say. Like, he's just really solid everywhere, and the guy just really knows how to win rounds, and that comes from a lot of experience. He's been in the UFC probably just as long as like, since the first day I walked into my first MMA gym. So that comes with its own, its own challenges, and it comes with a lot of experience for him. And I think he's good. Now that I'm rambling about that, I forgot what your question was.
That
Sorry.
where he's more dangerous at.
Oh, yeah. Where is he most dangerous? I think he's dangerous everywhere, but he's most dangerous because he's really good at winning, and he's really good at playing the actual game of MMA, where he's not, he's not the most dangerous guy, definitely dangerous, but he doesn't have a ton of submissions. He doesn't have a ton of knockouts. And I think he's dangerous in the sense that, like, the guy really knows how to win rounds, and in a 3-round fight, you only have to win 2 of those, and 2 rounds is, 10 minutes is not a lot of minutes to have to win, and I think that that's where he brings the most challenge.
For sure. Do you think this is the most important fight of your career? And what's your prediction for this fight?
I mean, to date, every fight is the most important fight of the career. I know that sounds corny, but I think it was important that I beat Moraes. I think it was important. Each fight is unique, and each one is, a little bit of a nicer notch on the belt and stuff. I think Frankie will be a huge name to add onto my resume that I'm really excited about. I can already, I really like winning. I really hate losing, and I know that people say that, but I'm a pretty flat guy emotionally. But winning is something that really, really, picks me up, and I love it. And so every single fight, I want to win tremendously bad.
Okay, and the prediction, how do you see winning this fight?
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's a really hard one. If it's like if you want me to speculate on it and just give you a guess, I think, let's just say I knock him out in the first minute. That's my answer every single time to that question is, how do I see the fight going? I knock him out in the first minute.
Okay, and would you like to send a message to your Ecuadorian fans?
To which fans?
Ecuadorian from Ecuador. Fans from Ecuador.
Oh, yes, yes. Ecuador, thank you guys for the support. I hope that you guys are watching on February 6th. We really appreciate it, and all the best.
Thank you very much, Cory, and good luck on the fight.
Thanks, man.